All right, here's the homework for 4.5 confidence intervals. Looks like we got 8 questions here, although I think you'll see that the first few go pretty quickly. For this one, for the first few actually, they just want you to make a confidence interval. As a couple notes here, the confidence interval that you're making is for P, the population proportion. When I ask you to do this on a test, it'll be a 3-step process, and sometimes there'll be a 4th step there. So make sure that you can state the shape, the center, and the spread. Make sure that you can draw the appropriate picture that shows the point estimate, the level of confidence, and the bounds of the interval, and then make sure you know how to make your conclusion. However, on this problem, all they want are the bounds of the interval, the numbers that go right here and right here. The only challenge with these sometimes they'll tell you n and x, and sometimes they'll tell you n and p hat. And if they give you x, you got to be able to come up with p hat. If they give you p hat, you got to be able to come up with x. So hopefully that all makes sense to you. They give you n, x, and your level of confidence, which is exactly the information you need to use the 1 prop z interval function on your calculator, which is this guy here. And when you select 1 prop z interval, you'll see that the 3 things it asks for are exactly the 3 things you're given. Type your answers. They want them as decimals, rounded to 3 decimal places. Then you're done. So that should be straightforward enough. And I think you'll find that the second problem, it's more of the same. They give you 300 people and 39 of them is your x. Make a 99% confidence interval. Again, you're just giving the bounds of the interval. Question 3 looks the same, but it's slightly different. Instead of giving you n and x, they give you n and p hat. So maybe if you know n and p hat, you can come up with x. Because if you know x, maybe you could use 1 prop z interval. And again, just give the bounds of your interval. So this is just one of the steps that I want you to be able to do. But it's kind of what the overall answer to the question is, so it's sort of an important step. So you do it several times in here. 4th one, this causes students all sorts of trouble. It shouldn't be that bad, but it is. It gets bad all the time. So let me give you a little extra help here. So what they want you to do is make a confidence interval. Right? So if you read through the problem, they are going to give you a sample size and the number of successes. They're going to give you n and x and your level of confidence. So they give you exactly the 3 things you need to make your confidence interval. So you make your confidence interval and you get your answer, and then you'll see that it doesn't want your answer. It doesn't want the bounds of your interval. What it wants is the margin of error. And note that they want it as a percentage here. So you've made your confidence interval, and it wants the margin of error. The margin of error is defined to be the distance from the center to either of your 2 endpoints. So maybe I can make that more clear with an example. Here's an example that we did in one of the videos. And the center was 16%, and one of the endpoints of your interval was 18.697%. So to find the margin of error, you just take this number and subtract this number to get 2.697% in this example. So on this problem, they just ask for your margin of error instead of the interval. If you have the interval, you can get the margin of error. If you have the margin of error in the center, you can get the interval. So it's just a different way of asking for the answer. Don't let that throw you off, but do note that it wants it as a percentage. So make sure that you don't state your answer as a decimal, but rather as a percentage. Question 5. This one, I don't know. It's usually these theoretical ones where they ask for the conclusion are a little bit more straightforward. I thought this one was really hard. It might randomly generate these, but I suspect that it will not. On mine, only one of these was correct. So it says check all that are correct, which is kind of annoying because you're like, I think this is, but I'm not sure. This one seems right. Maybe if I tell you that just one of them are right, that might help you with your process of elimination. So look at how we're stating our conclusion in the videos and see which of these is logically equivalent to what we say when we're stating our conclusion. Try your best. If you can get it, great. If not, as long as you can state the conclusion that we're stating in the videos, you're good. So don't worry too much about this one. Get it if you can. This one, okay, so the last 3 here all deal with the 4th step in the confidence interval, the one where you have to figure out what n is equal to. So it says for a given margin of error, calculate n. I had a separate video just on this. So the idea is when you're doing that, I give you this formula, and I'll show you the formula. Here's the formula right here. And this formula kind of has 3 different things in it. P hat, which shows up twice, the margin of error, and then this z sub alpha over 2 thing. And if you went through these examples, maybe you remember that really the difficult one is this z sub alpha over 2. These things aren't that hard. They're kind of given in the problem. But this one's hard to figure out. So the way the homework's set up is they have 2 different problems where you just find z sub alpha over 2. Don't worry about the plus or minus. That's because the homework defines it slightly differently than we do. Just find z sub alpha over 2. If they tell you that the level of confidence is 85%, you can find z sub alpha over 2. Don't plug it all into that formula. Don't try to figure out n. Just figure out the hard part, the z sub alpha over 2 part. And then do it again. Get more practice in question 7. This time they're giving you a weird level of confidence, but whatever, it doesn't matter. You could figure out alpha. You could figure out alpha divided by 2. And then you could figure out z sub alpha divided by 2. We do all that in the videos. And that answer goes here. So to be clear, the answers that you'll be typing in here will be like 1.63 or something like that. They'll be 1s or 2s or something like that. They won't be 5,000s or whatever. They won't be sample sizes. They'll be z-scores. And the reason you do that twice in 6 and 7 is because I wanted you to get some practice on question 8, but I didn't want to make you do it multiple times because it takes forever to go through problem 8. And these problems are pretty picky, but I think 6 and 7 aren't that picky. So for 8, there's a couple things here. You're supposed to figure out n this time. So you'll need to figure out z sub alpha over 2. You'll need to figure out p hat, which they use this symbol p star for. Don't worry about that. There's your p hat value. They give you your level of confidence so you can get alpha. And then they'll tell you the margin of error in here. The margin of error is 1%, so 0.01. And using that, you could figure out n. There's a big issue with this problem. In order to get the answer correct, you have to follow these instructions down here, which are different than the instructions that I've given you in videos, and they're different than what I want you to do when you're actually doing this on a test. So it has to do with rounding. So I don't care too much about it with the test, but if you want the computer system's really picky on this problem. If you want it to be marked correct, you have to first find that z sub alpha over 2 value, and you have to round that to 3 decimal places. You shouldn't round. Generally speaking, you should not round. In all the videos, I did not round, but it tells you to round. To get the right answer, you have to follow its directions, round that to 3 decimal places. Then put that into this formula. So to be clear, this thing right here is the thing that'll be rounded. Put that into this formula, you'll get your answer. When you get your answer, if that answer is a decimal, round it up to the next whole number. So if it's 1,821.1, you're going to type in 1,822. Round it up to the next whole number, and that'll be n. And if you follow all those instructions exactly, it'll mark it correct. But if you don't do that exactly, you might be doing everything right and you get full credit on a test, but the homework might say it's incorrect and you might get really frustrated. So I wanted to make sure that I talked through that. Hopefully that helps people. That's the 4.5 confidence interval homework.